do it.
What's up, gamers? Aaron Shack here with the critically acclaimed actor Caitlin Burt. Welcome to the Shackcast here. This is episode 20. And in typical actor form, she has some stage presence here. Caitlin, tell us about yourself, please.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited that we finally get to do this.
Yes.
I'm just mostly a content creator and actor, which means I've had like a lot of day jobs. I've done a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Just living the life, man. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's another great day in the life here, making YouTube content, podcasting, gaming, all that kind of stuff. Let's see. So I'm going to start off with like a little background here. Did you always know that you wanted to be an actor growing up?
Not until like Star Wars: The Phantom Menace when I was 11 years old, and I was like, gotta do that. Do that.
Okay, so Phantom. Did you have like a favorite character in Phantom Menace there?
Obi-Wan Kenobi, for real.
Oh my God.
I have a feeling I can't really be Obi-Wan, but if I could pretend, what kind of job is that? And I was like, actor. That's what I gotta do.
That's a dope job with the lightsabers and.
I know, just to be a Jedi, but like to have to restrict yourself to the light side for your whole life. Oh, that's discipline.
Discipline, huh? Would you stick with the light side, or would you go dark side?
I've been thinking about this, right?
Okay.
These are the things that I ponder. We started on a good note here. And like I go back and forth between gray Jedi, which is the in-between light and dark, and good side. I would never go dark side, just not worth it. I feel like you would just be as miserable or more miserable than you make everybody else.
Yes.
If you went full dark side. But like I think I would I hold Obi-Wan Kenobi close to my heart just so that I can stay light side. Because the temptation's always real to just lose it, you know?
Is it just you just want to lose it?
Oh yeah, I'm like an angry driver, like all that stuff. I'm a little rage monster, so that's why I got to keep it under wraps. It'd be good.
You know, Star Wars doesn't really explore the morally gray side. They don't really have a lot of in-between characters at times.
Right? And it is to the detriment of the storytelling lately, don't you think? Especially in the films and shows. But I feel like the games kind of do a decent job of that. Yeah. The games are Star Wars' best storytelling that we have now.
That's probably true. They let you make your own decisions about your character for the most part.
Yeah, the cutscenes are like unreal sometimes.
And I think we're supposed to be getting a series with Cameron Monaghan as from Fallen Order, right?
Yes.
And he's supposed to be getting his own like little Disney Plus show, and I'm just blown away by that.
Hey, that'd be cool. He's great. I loved him as the Joker in Gotham.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
Joker is great. He's so good.
With
I want to be that guy.
The stitched together smile. It's like with the staples, I guess. It's like the surgical staples that they used. Oh my gosh, that was
the prosthetics that they put on him every day, like, ooh.
Oh,
and it's tricky too. Like he plays with it and stuff. And
oh no.
Creepy and fun.
Oh, that's so gross. But it's perfect for the Joker. It works.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so tell us, you're from Michigan. What is life like over there?
In Michigan, it is like either freezing cold or very hot and muggy and humid, temperature-wise. Lots of road construction, and it is a world of roads. Auto industry, everyone drives everywhere. So you're just always driving. That's what I feel like Michigan is. Lots of driving. Maybe that's why I'm an angry driver. Maybe that's where that comes from. Too much driving.
Yes.
And every job that you do will be somehow related to automotive stuff. Like, even as an actor, it'll be like, do car commercials. Fine. You can't get away from it. Cars.
And you have a series about that as well. You did a Russian spy Uber driver, right?
Yeah.
One of your roles.
Michigan or automotive or anything with that. I was trying to, like, I was trying to go, like, away from the daily life and do something that's weird, right? How about, like, a Russian spy? Something left field. And you brought it right back. The car stuff, man. But yeah, that was my baby last year, my project that I did. Very silly.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about that. Like, how did you come up with the idea?
How did I come up with the idea? I don't even know. Maybe I wanted to do like Russian spy stuff, and I was like, how would I work that into daily life so that I could capture it and make it relatable?
Mm-hmm.
And just like, oh no, I remember. So I
Okay.
was driving and I had just watched some like Russian guy on YouTube a lot, and I was like doing his voice while I was driving. And like it was starting to be like, and I'm spying on people and I'm following this guy too closely.
Oh
And
my God.
I'd pass him like, oh, what are you doing? Get off road, you gotta drive faster. And it became this whole monologue, and I was like, I kind of like this little world I just created. And then I sat down one day and just wrote a big script, and I was like, I called up my improv buddies, and I was like, let's film it. Let's do that.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So it just came out of just imitating someone, pretty much. Like just imitating that voice and then creating
Yeah.
a character on the fly, and you're like, hey, I think I got something here.
Yeah. That's kind of where it all comes from. I was like, I see something that I like, and I kind of start, and I just like want to capture it. I want to see what I do with it. I want to see what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then I start to do it, and then it just kind of takes off from there. The creativity builds, or I don't know where to take it. So I ask another comedy friend, and then we'll riff and get ideas. But mostly it's just in my own head. 'Cause the people are like, you are too weird for me. And I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. The
So-
other day I did a koala in the zoo, but this koala's like gangster. Like, you know how you go to the zoo and you're looking at the animals and they're like, what the I don't go to your house and look at you. Like, it feels a little invasive.
I'm in the bathroom here.
Exactly. You want to watch me poop? All right. Like, yeah, so this
I paid $15 for this.
exactly. This is my koala. So just randomness, man. That's the life of a sketch comedy YouTuber, I guess.
That's so cool. So you do have like a little mastermind group that you can talk to and bounce ideas off of whenever you're doing stuff like this?
Yeah, some people, in fact, I talk to just to know what not to do. They have very opposite ideas from me.
Oh.
I don't know. That's a weird one, but mostly everything I just come up with myself. Occasionally, I'll take another class, an improv class, a sketch comedy class, a characters class, and then you show up with work. Everyone shows up with something. You watch each other's stuff, and then try to give each other ideas. And I like that just because you can see what stuff lands and what stuff actually people gravitate towards. And that's
Okay.
why I made the whole Russian spy series, because people were like, you know, when they're giving you feedback, they're like, yeah, that was cool, and you can do this and you can do this, and people generally seem excited about it. So that means to me that it's something maybe worth making because people might actually get into it.
You've got a hit, yeah. So do you react well, respond well to criticism and stuff like that as an actor or as a content creator?
I get not a whole lot of comments, and I feel like a lot of people that know me watch my stuff.
Okay.
So, or people that come to know me, like, they're people that like it, so they stick around, and then they only say nice things. And occasionally, yeah, you get some bad comments, and I used to get, it hurts at first. You're like, oh, that sucks. Like, I don't want to hear that. And then you try to like get it out of your brain, but you can't.
No.
Like, all day, it just kind of keeps coming.
Only the negative.
Right? And right? Yeah, the positive stays there for like 10 minutes. You're like, yes. The negative stays there for the whole day. But then I just realized, because people would be so mad for no reason. Like, you don't know me. It's not even offensive. You're just mad. And I realize it's because they think they could do it better. And they're just kind of mad at themselves for not doing it. You
Yeah.
know, not getting out there and trying. Instead, some other asshole did it, and they just like did just a crappy job. So they're just so mad, right? So they're really just mad at themselves. And once I realized that, I was like, okay, that's usually you can tell that's what's going on.
So you can shrug it off once you kind of know it's all people's ego of, well, I could have done it better.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, I think I have like some competitive nature in me that sometimes will get mad about stuff.
Yeah.
But I can shrug stuff off a lot more now. Okay, man, rolls off.
And you could have like 100 likes on a video, but you get 2 dislikes, and you'll fixate on that. You'll be like, why do these 2 people not like me? Can I email them? Can I get them to turn that around? I want a higher percentage on this video, please.
Didn't they take away the dislike button?
Yeah, they did. Well, I don't know. Can you still? I think they took it away, but it's like I think you can still dislike videos, but it's like it doesn't show it.
Right.
So only the creator sees it now.
Okay, so you can go into your analytics and see your dislikes still?
Yeah, if you still want to fret about it, you know.
Hey, well, I found that like the more people see it, the more dislikes you're gonna get.
This is true.
It's good. It's very good analytics to have. But if you can stay like above 85% likes, then that's good. But I mean, if you rank up millions of views, you're gonna have tons of dislikes.
We have to prep for the wave of dislikes coming that comes with popularity, I guess.
I pray for the dislikes.
Please, more.
What about you? Do you fall apart? Are you just like whatever? Or do you not get hate because your stuff is so awesome?
I was not used to it at first, so I was like, how could people dislike me? They don't even know me. I'm putting a lot of work into this. This was really difficult. But yeah, I think
you're sensitive artists here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the sensitive, like whiny musician type, so I get all introspective. But I think the more I've gotten used to it, I just realize not everything's for everyone, and sometimes people have like a snap judgment. Like maybe they hit that dislike button as soon as the video starts, but then they watch till the end. They're like, oh, actually, he explained that pretty well, or whatever I'm doing, just sort of pans out, and then maybe it doesn't change their mind. It doesn't get them to swap over, but it's like, sometimes we do have snap reactions. Yeah.
You have a good community of people.
Yes.
Do you find that like newcomers or randos, since you're in the gaming scene, is it tougher? Are they harsher?
Oh yeah, like I think the newcomers are the hardest because they might come in and test you. They'll be like offensive, or they'll make like a joke or something to like test the waters and see if you're the kind of person that will go back and forth, or if you'll just straight up ban them. And I guess it just depends how bad it is, whatever they say. Like, come in with a mom joke or something. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where the line is, but like, you do get people that come in that be like, oh, you suck. Like, you're totally the worst. Like, you're losing here. I'm like, I'm here to entertain, not be the best, but...
Like hecklers. That's what it feels like to me.
Hecklers, yeah. Yeah, they basically asked me to play Freebird the whole time, or they asked me to play a different game when I'm... You're not really good at this one, so switch out.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like getting those on stage and then getting those streaming, it's just you kind of take the same mindset with it. And I've had it where other people who watch the stream get more upset than I do when those people come in and try to get you.
Yes. So you have a positive attitude about it whenever it comes in. You're like able to deal with it through experience. Maybe.
Yes. Well, yeah, and weirdly in real life too. Like, if someone is trying to diss me or something, I'll pretend not to get it, or sometimes I won't get it. It's
yes.
They don't get a reaction from me at all, and it'll take me I'll think about it later, and I'll be like, oh, I see what they were trying to do, but I didn't give it to them at the time, and it works to my advantage every time.
This is perfect. The advantages.
Being blonde, man.
I gotta steal that. Well, I guess I can't steal the blonde thing, but I can definitely hone in on the what do you mean? I don't understand.
You're so funny, and they're like, no, but I was trying to diss you. You're like, good one, man.
Good one. Yeah, I think if you're just warm and kind to people in general, it's like they have a really hard time hating you. Maybe.
Yeah.
Kill them with kindness, that whole thing. Because sometimes that's worked with the live streaming stuff, is like if you just open up a little bit and just say like, oh, hey, how's your day? Like, you kind of just get them to shed that sort of offensive skin that they come in with at the beginning. Or at least in my experience of live streaming. Yeah,
dude, half of life is just disarming people. We're all a little
We got.
You know.
That's very true, and I'm learning this with age. You do have to like go into these like very tense situations with, like, especially in the music world, have to go in with professionalism, and everyone's always stressed out or like blaming you for something right out the gate, you know, or they're just in a bad mood or something. You just got to come in there and you're like, all right, where do I plug in? Like, how do I get in, and do my thing?
In the music industry, is there a lot of kiss ass? Is everyone like, oh, super nice all the time? And you're like, wow,
that too.
they're like really nice.
Yes, that too. So I can never tell if people are like, do you really like my stuff? Or are you just saying that to be nice? Like, did I really do a good job today at the performance? And so it's just like, yeah, you do get a bunch of that too. So it's hard to get an really objective. Know. But
it is.
Go to family if you want the objective take, I think. That's.
You know what I've heard? Ask a kid.
Oh, ask. Oh, that's very true. Yeah, because kids won't BS you. They don't lie. They don't know about the whole, you know, keeping up appearances and like, you know, trying to impress people and make
politics. They'll be like, "You're my favorite uncle. You're my least favorite uncle." You know, right?
Oh, they'll get you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
So yeah, ask a kid.
Ask a kid.
But how was your music stuff going?
How's what?
Music.
Well, I left a church gig that I've had for about 6 years. I was a music director there. I played guitar and sang and led the choir. We had several people there. So this year was just the year that I was like, I need to branch off, do my own thing. And there were other reasons. There were pay disputes. There were all sorts of, you know, garbage you have to deal with as a gigging, like contract-based work. So it's like, people can be very fickle, so very difficult.
Yeah.
But it was worthwhile, and I did a lot of good things. I mentored a lot of youth into music and into church stuff, and now they're out doing their thing in choir and playing instruments, and so I mean I had some sort of impact on people's lives. So.
Was that rewarding? Was that fun?
Super rewarding, like, and especially during the COVID stuff, we were literally having like funerals every week, and it was like to be there for people in their worst moments with the comforting music, you know, stuff like that, you know, the kind attention that you had to pay to people, you know, you'd sit down with the grieving family and they're telling you like their loved one's favorite church songs or whatever, or you're like trying to get in their head and figure out what songs they might like that sort of explain what they were about and how they lived their life, you know, that kind of thing. So it was like deeply traumatic at the same time because you're like back-to-back wall-to-wall funerals, but then it's like you're also gigging, you're also performing, you're doing things that people love and you're helping people in a sense.
That is like being a wedding singer but opposite.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's the reverse. And
the funeral singer.
The funeral singer. Listen, Adam Sandler, I have an idea, okay? we could spin this around. You could be a 90s funeral singer.
Wow. I don't know who would watch that movie. That sounds tough.
Yeah, it sounds like all the comedy would go out the window.
Right. That's amazing, though. That means you were one of the unsung heroes of the pandemic. Just like first responders, just like everyone else. You were like in the thick of it. I feel like that totally counts because you're experiencing other people's trauma and the results of everything going on in the flesh right there.
And we also were like shut down for a while, and the only way we were able to get it back together was we had to go outside and do church outside, like in the garden. And I was like, well, why don't we live stream it so that everybody can feel like they're a part of it? Because like some people are just going to be too old or infirm or various, you know, obviously don't want to catch COVID when you're a certain age. So we did that, and it basically got the church back up, and we did that for like, gosh, it almost felt like we did it for like a year before we eventually got back into the church proper. And even then it was still spacing, masks, all that stuff until, gosh, I guess maybe late 2021 before we even like really truly got back to some sort of sense of normalcy, where it was like masks off, we're back in the church with all the instruments and all that stuff. So I mean, it was a really unique experience.
Yeah, that's amazing you put that together and help the church out. Look at you.
Boy, it really paid off, because it was like we could have just been shut down and then nobody's making money. I'm not making money, church isn't making money. You know,
right? You're
just sitting at home twiddling your thumbs. So it's like we had to do something, right? We had to reverse innovate, I guess. Took us a step backwards.
I had a character that did live streams for pandemic live mass. But was very mean to the congregation. I Father McMurphy just like hate on people and talk about all the sinning they probably did in the pandemic and the quarantine.
Yes.
That's why I did what you did, but for evil. I didn't do it for good.
That's so funny. That was on YouTube, wasn't it? That was one of your.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of Father McMurphy. He's a scoundrel.
That's so cool. That was a good one. So, while we're on the whole pandemic thing, can you explain like how that affected the whole actor thing? How did all that go? Creating content on YouTube and stuff. Did you have to shift to like staying at home for a while and just shooting stuff there, or how does it all work?
So I had already worked from home, and I had already been shooting in my house. And I'd already shot in every single location, every corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
In front of every poster, whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'd done it all. I'd already exhausted all of my options, and Corey was like, just way more of the same. But I did pivot to voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
My agent started sending me stuff for that, and that was cool. And I had already kind of been doing that for video game acting stuff, so I got to do more of that commercial wise, keep myself afloat. Put together unemployment stuff through my day job that we all got laid off from, because it was a nightclub. But the unemployment went horribly wrong, right? And like that never went through, and then they were like wanted more money back than they even gave me. They just like stopped giving me money, and it was like horrible. So just freelancing and gigging and voiceovering and producing and just like all of the gigs.
Oh my gosh.
But then saying no to some gigs that don't pay enough, so that because you're never gonna make more money, you don't start saying no to like the bottom of the barrel gigs.
Really?
I don't know if you found that, but yeah, so it's always a tricky game you play, and then like learning about contrast and all the fun stuff. But if I had to shoot or something, I went and did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, obviously unemployment's not going to save me.
No.
And I got nothing to do, so I'm just going to go do it.
Yeah.
And if I get COVID and die, I was like, then that's the worst that happens.
Got to get out there and work. What's the worst that could happen, I guess, yeah. So you touched on the voice work. Did you feel like during the pandemic you were working at your hardest because you were firing on all cylinders, trying to make ends meet? You're taking voice work now, you're filming skits at home and on location, and taking acting gigs on top of that? I mean, that sounds like a lot.
Everything slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
So all of those things were trickling through, and I took a lot of walks. Like I just walked.
A lot of walking.
Just around the block, just walking in circles. I'm sure so many people had the walking in circles experience that I had, but I made so many friends. I was like, I'm not gonna take classes. I'm graduating. I'm not taking classes in the pandemic. And then I was like, fine, I'll take a class. And then once I took one class, I signed up for like 5 classes. So I was like Zoom classing all the time, made friends with all these people, got together with a D&D group, and made friends on Twitter and on social media with people that like it took me. Most of these people I've met in real life now, even if they're like across the country somewhere. When I go travel, I call them and we meet up finally in real life.
Yeah.
But I had so many friends, like good friends I talked to a lot, that I had never actually met in real life. So it was so weird.
Oh, that's
cool. I'm sure a lot of people have that experience too. I don't know if you, but we make friends online all the time. You always people pop into the stream, so I'm sure you have tons of internet friends.
Yeah, you really meet a lot of people doing this and being on social media, and just the whole gaming circle is just, it's an easy way to make friends. Like, you just start playing a game, you start talking, and then you become friends with people. So, and yeah, it is like, it's super depressing that like all your friends are just in different countries or different states and like all across the nation. But that's really cool. So you were making friends, and you did D&D. Do you still do that, or was that a phase?
The group got busy when things started getting back to normal.
Yeah.
But I would love to D&D. But it's like when I played World of Warcraft, and you would go do like a raid, and it takes 4 or 5 hours. Like, it's such a huge commitment. I have problems with those big commitments.
Yeah.
5-hour things, but I want to play.
That's why I've been nervous about. I've actually really wanted to start it. I've been learning about D&D. I got the dice. I've been reading about it. I've had the rules explained. I watched Critical Role, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm just like, every week for like 4 hours or 5 hours or something. I was like, what if I don't feel like it?
Right? It does fly by, and it's a lot of fun. And I think you just gotta do it. Commit to a campaign, and then maybe you take a break before you sign up for another one or whatever.
Yeah.
But so what you would play? Have you made a character?
Oh no, I haven't. I guess I should probably think about that. I have like all these character cards that came with the rule book and the box set, and so it kind of gives me an idea. But yeah, I'd really love to just play someone completely opposite, like just be either like a dumb himbo or something, or just be like an old mage or something, just like as far away from my normal voice and my normal personality. Just try to, I guess I want to act, okay? God, without saying it. I think that would be really fun. So what kind of characters have you played when you've done like a D&D? Did you do like a certain class and a certain role here?
I also went opposite.
Yeah.
And I have a little cleric gnome.
Oh, a gnome? What does that mean? That's so cool.
He's this teeny tiny little guy. And his name is Build With. And I do an accent for the role.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
It's funny. Build With was like my buddy in the pandemic, because everyone like will come to D&D, and everyone has like their cats around them or like whatever, and I was like, I don't have a thing, you guys. You guys have like your thing that is like your buddy through it. And someone was like, you have Build With.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And it kind of made me feel better. I did a couple of videos like D&D in real life as Build With goes and tries to like figure out his past and stuff.
Aww.
Yeah.
So you got your extra personality, I guess, to spend the pandemic with. Your little character.
I guess psychologically it got weird.
As we gradually lose our grip on sanity, we start making our characters real.
Right? That's my everyday practice of dismantling my psyche, I guess, is making new characters.
It's gonna be great when we get old and you have all these different voices in your head, and they're all just characters that you've played or voices that you've done. Grandma's weird. She is speaking in several different voices and different characters, and she's not quite sure who she is.
I would either be terrifying or kind of actually pretty cool.
Would be entertaining, I think. Yeah. So when it comes to acting, like, who are some of your influences, your idols? Who did you grow up idolizing? Who do you look at now for inspiration?
Yeah, so Ewan McGregor was obviously like one of the first ones. Tom Hanks and like, national treasures like that.
Yeah.
Also Nick Cage, because national treasure. Adam Sandler, we touched on earlier, so we're making all the rounds here. Tom Hardy is great. I love people that are character actors. Really like that. So there's a guy called Tom Hollander, not Tom Holland.
Okay.
But Tom Hollander. He's a great character actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. You looked him up, you know him. Yeah, those are some of the big. Val Kilmer back in the day.
Oh my gosh. Did you see his documentary? He had done one fairly
No,
recently.
Is it sad? I haven't watched it yet.
It's on Amazon, I think, and it's really good. Yeah, I mean, he's basically been recording his whole life. I didn't know this, but he's had a video camera around for like ever, and while he's like recording Top Gun, all these different movies he's been in throughout his life, he's like just running around with his video camera recording his co-stars and just being a goofball, and so a lot of it's like just this footage that he's compiled throughout his life, and is dealing with I think he had like a throat cancer thing as well, and it's just a really moving thing. And I think as an actor there's probably a lot to gain from watching that and just seeing his process and his experience.
He was like an OG YouTuber, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is without even knowing it or saying it out loud. I mean, he's basically the first YouTuber.
Sweet. Well, I bet it would make me feel a bit less weird, like doing all running around with the camera and being a weirdo all the time for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good tip. I'll have to watch it.
So on that note, since he's a Batman, who is your favorite Batman? Do you have a favorite of all the actors we've had? I know that's kind of
him or Michael Keaton, because Michael Keaton's also one of
Keaton's
my top
dope.
faves, absolute faves. I am a big Robert Pattinson fan. I think he's been amazing in everything he's been in. But Michael Keaton is one of my top.
You think Keaton? Because
Ever.
Keaton was he was in romantic comedies, and he was trying to make it as a stand-up comedian. I don't know if you saw some of his stuff. So they were like, this guy's a horrible choice for Batman back in the 80s. Like, people were just like, this is the worst. And then they did the same thing with Heath Ledger. Like, pretty much everyone that's come along. They're like, really? The Twilight guy? But then they end up like really owning the role, and that's like, I think that's a mark of a good actor, is like you think they're typecast as the sparkly glitter vampire guy, but it's like, no, he's played so many roles that have just stretched his chops, whatever. He's got the acting chops to be able to be all these different things.
Exactly. That's favorite part of acting, and my favorite actors all do that. Completely transform. Oh, it is the coolest thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. What about top 5 movies here?
Oh man. So the other day when I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, I was like, this movie is amazing. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. And the last time I remember thinking that about a movie was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Ooh, okay.
One of my favorites for a long time. Also Michelle Yeoh, which is pretty crazy. She just knows how to pick the projects, I guess.
I think so.
I loved Gladiator and Apollo 13. Also, like Adam Sandler movies and. Like,
what's the best Adam Sandler movie then? Do you have like a favorite that you go back to?
I love The Waterboy.
Waterboy's good, yeah.
Probably my favorite, but I'm gonna go unconventional here.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to give this movie a shout out.
Yeah.
Every time I bring up Jack and Jill, people have horrible things to say. Like, oh, that movie's so terrible. And I say, but have you actually seen it? And like, no.
No.
I
just the
did not
preview, huh?
But I love that movie too. Jack and Jill's like, it's pretty ridiculous, hilarious to me. I laugh so hard and so long every time I watch it.
So is it because he's playing like 2 characters at the same time, like bouncing off of the?
That might totally be why. That's the thing that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I love his Jill is amazing, and she has so many good bits, and she's got just a great arc. And Al Pacino's in it, being silly.
That's not something you see every day, is Al Pacino cracking a smile.
Right? Exactly.
So that's
Pretending to be
a
in love
unique
with a version of Adam Sandler. What are your favorites? What do you have?
Oh my gosh. Okay, if I have to go with Adam Sandler, Big Daddy's one of my favorites, because it pulls at your heartstrings, but then it also has like the really dope like comedy scenes where anytime he makes a mess, he puts like newspaper on the floor to just soak it up. I was like, that's such a, oh my gosh, it's such a guy thing to do. Like we don't even think about stuff like that. We don't try to like put some sort of solvent and really get in there and clean it out. No, we're just like, just soak it up, whatever. Let's see, other movies. So one of my favorites is Sahara, the Matthew McConaughey, Steve Zahn, Penelope Cruz. It's like Indiana Jones meets James Bond, and it's based off the Clive Cussler novels. The character's name is Dirk. I can't think of his last name. But anyway, it's based off a bunch of novels. And, you know, if you like National Treasure, you like Indiana Jones, like that kind of stuff. That movie, to me, like the action, just the wackiness of it all, because it's really over the top for a sort of spy action treasure hunting film. And of course Matthew McConaughey he's always a charmer. Let's see what else. The other movie that got me like, I guess I gauge whether a movie's like really good is if I'm like really passionate while I'm watching it. I'm feeling the feelings. I'm either crying or I'm laughing or I'm like punching along with the character on screen. I'm like, yeah, get him. So when I was watching Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, and it was just like everything I wanted as a Superman movie. As like a big Superman fan, I was like, all the fight scenes were dope, and you know, just the way they played with the character and the mythos and the stuff Russell Crowe did in the intro and Krypton and just all that. And it's just like, how do you live up to Marlon Brando being Jor-El? Like, how do you approach the role that's like so iconic that everybody expects you to be this way, and then you go that way instead? You go the opposite, you know, and you kind of take what he did, but you twist it, you innovate it, and you put your own spin on it. And he just,
master. Yeah,
he's so good at what he does, and of course he looks amazing.
Yeah.
Is that 5? I don't even know. I think Ghostbusters is a big one for me. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. The comedy.
Like the new one?
Yeah, the new one was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like a great way to pass the torch and like bring in some nostalgia of like the original cast and bringing them back in and passing it off. And who better than like the Stranger Things kid? What's his name? I can't think of his name. But yeah, I mean, pretty much all those kids are just sort of almost the Stranger Things crew, and they were all dressed up like Ghostbusters in their show, and it just seemed like a perfect way to do it, and just to hand it over to some new characters and make it meaningful. And I guess what I've learned about Ghostbusters is that it's not about the 4 guys, right? Like, they're basically firemen or cops or whatever. Like, they're public servants. They're providing a service. So it's really more about the costume and the service they provide. So it's like anybody can be a Ghostbuster. You could be a Ghostbuster. You get the jumpsuit, you put your name on it, you get the pack, you're good to go. And that's what I think the community has done with it, is like all the cosplayers and the people that build their own Ghostbuster car and all that stuff, you know, they become part of it instead of it all being about the 4 guys, and it's only if Bill Murray's in it, you know. It's like, no, it's bigger than that. So
yeah, so cool. How lucky are we to have like these cool things that people created once upon a time? We can just enjoy them for like ever.
Absolutely. And to have something like that be so timeless, that it constantly transcends, and there's constantly newer fans of it. And people still find the movies like good and funny, and you know, the next generation goes back and watches it. Just to have timeless content like that, that's kind of the dream, right? To be immortalized.
You have to have such a good movie for it to be enjoyed for generations, not forgotten in a week. To make such a movie. That's why those guys were special.
Yes. Oh, especially now in the streaming world, where it's like you literally, you drop all your episodes or you drop your movie in 1 week, and then it's like next week people are talking about whatever the next new show is. Or, you know, just things are so short-lived because there's so much that we can watch on streaming services too. It's like there's hundreds of movies on Netflix, there's hundreds on Amazon, every other platform. There's so much choice that it's like it can be overwhelming. You can find everything but also nothing.
you gotta make it good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way to like stand out and be like, Stranger Things or Squid Games be something that people talk about for like a good while and look forward to seeing again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you think, how do you prefer this? Do you like the binge thing where they just drop all the episodes all at once? Or do you like the tension of, let's drop one episode a week, like old school TV here, and let you sit around the water cooler and talk about it and hype things up before the next?
I definitely like that. Yeah, like the social aspect of that, that's how we grew up, right? Like watching Lost with commercial breaks that you couldn't skip. Like, remember that?
Oh, the tension.
And I don't binge anyway. I can't sit in front of the TV for that long. Like, I'm almost fidgeting now because I move all the time.
We've gone too long, yeah.
I'm not ADD, but like I just love moving so much where it's like, why would I ever sit in front of the TV for that long? I have to just savor it.
So get an episode out of the way and soak it in and enjoy it. And it gives you enough time to like hype it up and get people talking about the next episode, about what could happen next.
Yeah, exactly. And break down like if that episode was good, where it took things, predict what might happen next, or like what might happen by the end. What did they set up? There's so much to dig into that makes you appreciate it more. Like The Boys, doing that right now. Got a couple episodes.
The Boys, yeah, they've done a good job with that too.
So good.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. Do you have a favorite character on that show?
That's one of those characters that's one of those shows that's so good. Yeah. Almost every character is my favorite character.
They all shine, yeah.
But like Butcher, Kamiko. Kamiko might be like my favorite. Butcher and Homelander, just because Homelander just gets better and better all the time, which is more ridiculous.
He does. The more you get to know him. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have a favorite?
I really like Billy Butcher. I relate a lot to, I guess, Huey. I see a lot of myself in him, of being like the geeky nerd and just kind of the nobody, but he gets pulled into this big adventure and the whole thing with Starfire and, hanging out with this crew that essentially wants to get rid of the supers. I don't know, it's really cool. As a comic book fan, there's never been a more interesting time to be alive than like right now. Because there's so much stuff out there. Like Marvel's putting out like 10 movies a year. DC's out there doing their thing. And then you have stuff like The Boys and Invincible and all these other shows just kind of coming out of the woodwork. The Walking Dead, another comic show. Like, you're feasting right now if you're a comic book fan. There's so much content out there. And it's gone mainstream, so now it's cool to like this stuff. Because it's like, used to get made fun of back in the late 80s, early 90s, all that stuff for liking comic characters or Star Wars or any of that. But now it's so mainstream. Right? Everybody loves it.
Yeah. I always just owned it. Did you?
Yeah, I think I always. Yeah, because, I mean, what else am I going to do? I can't
kind of wear your nerd on your
pretend
sleeve.
To be someone else. Yeah.
Like, yes, I like to fight in my spare time with a cardboard tube or whatever.
Exactly. Always done that. Let's see. What about movie genres? Do you have like favorite genres that you like to watch, and then also that you would prefer to like act in?
Yeah. Okay, so like enjoying and wanting to do same thing, right?
Okay.
So
Action
adventure, comedy, sci-fi, would all be at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, like. I like watching horror, and I like watching like drama, espionage kind of stuff, and I love submarine movies.
Submarine movies, that's an interesting genre there.
I've seen like a lot of them.
Yeah, they're really closed in. Very tight quarters.
Yeah. But those S3, like, I don't really know if I'd care to be in them. I just want to have people have a good time. So, like, any movie that you could, like, make a theme park ride about, like, I would love to do that. But I'd love it to also be good, like, as a movie, and have a story, and have characters that you care about, and have things happen that matter.
Yeah.
And, like, have it all come together and make sense. Like, I prefer that.
Horror horror is so difficult to do all those things. It's like they rarely have the time to like flesh out their characters before they kill them, or tell like a big expansive story and create lots of lore. So I guess that is tricky for that genre.
Yeah, I haven't had to be in too many horrors, which is good.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you had to do stuff like with like gore or any sort of like effects like that, like gross goo or anything, or lots of blood or monsters or something?
Oh yeah. Yeah. People are always trying to get me filthy and put blood on me. And one time some guys wanted to like push me down some stairs and I'm like, no. And like I had to like run away. That was a long time ago. That's why I don't like doing horror movies. You never know what's going to happen. Like, we're going to like pretend to slice you. We'll come really close to you, but we won't hit you. I'm like, no.
I don't like that. No, like, we don't have a...
you go through like at the beginning of your truth. This is like a long time ago, but like,
yes.
Yeah, there's so much crap that you go through. But, and like, I found when I started making my own short films, they were all monster movies. And I didn't realize this until I went through and watched all my old YouTubes to see like, how am I doing and what's going on here? And I was like, oh, shorts are all monster movies. It's something is weird in my brain.
Interesting. Yeah, you gravitated to something that was kind of the opposite of what you wanted, right?
Yeah, well, they're not all like spooky.
Yeah, not spooky.
Horror. Sometimes monster movies. There's all kinds of different monster movies.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're kind of fun, but they were all kind of like a little bit dark. I do have some goth. You know what I mean?
Goth.
I'm a little bit emo for sure. So I got some of that.
Yeah, did you go through a whole emo phase too?
Music-wise, for sure.
Or it's not a phase, Mom.
I still love emo music, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy is probably my favorite. I still jam to all the time.
They were really good. That was one of my favorites as well. Yeah. They were dope.
Do you know any of their stuff? Do you play any emo stuff?
Oh gosh, I don't play any, but I mean, I know plenty of their stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
What do you gravitate towards music-wise? If you just have to like do laundry, chill out, cleaning up, what do you listen to?
Oh my gosh, for the cleaning, you do like the big band jazz stuff, or like musicals or something kind of lighthearted. Oh. That way you keep up to the beat and stuff, have something nice and exotic like that. But most of what I perform is blues, jazz, rock, and of course I started doing the church stuff, and I was like, this is so contrary to what I was trained in, because I went to school for like blues and jazz and vocals and guitar, and then I just went into church music, and I was like, this is easier than jazz. Like, the chords are simpler. I'm not having to play like super fast stuff, and so I got into that. And so I mean, I guess that's what I gravitate to. But like stuff from the 60s and 70s are good, and then of course being a child of the 90s and 2000s, it's like all the emo stuff comes in, and all the boy band pop stuff. I jammed all that, and then here we are.
Nice. Yeah, isn't that weird how life throws you curveballs? You think you're preparing for one thing, and then really you just kind of got to do something very completely different.
Yeah, I would have never guessed if someone said, hey, you're going to be a church musician. Hope you enjoy it. And then, actually paid off quite well. What about you? Yeah, go ahead.
What's the next thing with music? I mean, you just retired from churching.
Yes.
With music, so now what?
So right now, it's all about me. No, full ego. I'm trying to do more songwriting. So I'm looking at stuff that I've been writing over the past like 10 or 12 years, going through old journals and stuff like that, trying to get originals together. And so it's angsty love songs, it's sad blues tunes, it's wacky country stuff, with like a little sense of humor to it. Which is also a little outside my wheelhouse, but I'm Texan, so it's it comes naturally here with the scene. But yeah, I think the thing is probably going back to solo act performing, and I had a trio for a couple of years that we were really successful in our local area. So I mean, I'd be open to that too, of course. There's always options to audition and start a new band and all that kind of stuff. But right now I need to have a firm set on my own stuff. Have my own content and material so I can put it out there and start monetizing a little bit here.
Yeah, and how do you keep that separate from your game life? I know I'm making you kind of combine them right now, but normally do you feel like, oh, I can't mix the two, or do you ever game and stream music and stream at the same time as you game?
Yeah, we did like there was a thing for a while, I think, when I was streaming on Twitch, you could like redeem your chat points to get a reward, and I would just like sing a little song, or we got to like the end of stream and then I would just like sing a little song to carry us out. So it's like I got to figure out how YouTube handles that, because I'm a YouTube guy now. I got to see how they handle the rights of like when you play a cover, if that's going to get struck down or muted or something like that before I start doing that. But I would love to blend the two, or I'd love to have like a night where it's music night, song requests are on, and it would definitely get me to flex a little bit and like learn and try to be better. And regular performing gig is great too. You know, when there's not. That was the cool thing about the church gig, was it was guaranteed money. You know, every Sunday you always had a place to play. Whereas when you're kind of solo, you're like, I gotta go hit up this coffee house, or I gotta play this. I was doing like corporate banquets and stuff like that. Just, you know, anytime someone at the city had something, some sort of fundraiser or any of that stuff, they'd book me for that, and I'd just sit there and play background music and sing. So it was really cool.
Sweet. That's cool.
So that's what's next. Man. Hopefully it's an exciting new future here that I have that I'm putting together, where I can be myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Young and full of potential.
Yes, absolutely.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Oh man, I hope it's good. I think it will be. So another thing we touched on here is that it says this in your bio, so I'm quoting you. It says, I enjoy playing male characters, blending badass and fun like John McClane. Tell us more about that. What does that mean? And how do you approach looking for characters and roles, and it seems like a lot of your characters do gravitate to this sort of action adventure, like tough and bravado, which we normally reserve for male actors, but obviously things are different.
Right?
Yeah.
I always grew up being so bored by all the female roles, or all the roles that women would play.
Yes.
But when John McClane starts doing stuff, I'm like, this is awesome. It's blowing my mind right now. So it's all society's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But
it is.
I can do whatever I want, right? I'll be like, yeah, go be Thor today.
Yes.
And female Thor.
That was a dope skit. Yeah.
But like, I was doing Chris Hemsworth kind of Thor, like 8-9 years ago, whatever, when those movies started. I was really into that. I hosted Comic-Con for a couple days just before a pandemic. It was a 3-day event, and I showed up as Doctor Who, the Matt Smith Doctor Who, and Winter Soldier, and John Wick.
Oh my gosh.
Those were just those
John Wick.
who I cosplayed to host the event. And people, I never really get any hate about it. I have people, it's always older dudes. I don't know why. Older men in my life are just gonna like eventually pull me aside and be like, "You're not feminine enough, Caitlin. You really should be more feminine." And I get very offended. I don't often get offended, but I really don't like that.
Oh.
And I had short hair for like 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And it just got long again in pandemic. And they would always say, "You grow your hair longer. It would look nicer that way." But other than that, no one gives me shit, and everyone gets it, and they're like, yeah, your male characters they're super fun, and they're super silly, and that's just what makes me excited to do it. I would cosplay as George W. Bush. I do Bush impressions for my comedy class and stuff. I got like the gray wig, and
I love it. That's one of my
ridiculous.
favorites.
I got these little 6-shooters that I spin, and I'm like, folks around here call me W. And it allows me to do so many things that I want to do. I make fun of Biden. I have a Biden wig.
You have the aviators?
Views, right? You got to do the relevant.
Yeah.
The W impression is not exactly current, so
Yeah,
I
true.
had to pick one that people are actually gonna watch. And like all the Ghostbusters, just whatever I feel like. And also something about acting makes you want to have as much distance between you and the thing they're going to play. That's where the maximum fun is, because if you're just playing something that you look exactly like and sound exactly like, then like how much are you really acting then, really?
This is very true, yeah. I notice people get upset when they're like, Nolan North isn't really acting in all these video game roles because he's just using his regular voice. Or they'll say Troy Baker's just using his regular voice. But then he goes and voices like Joel in The Last of Us, where it's like he's completely unrecognizable. Like he sounds like an old Texan man, or all the various things that they've done. It's weird how we attack actors for either being themselves or being something really far away from themselves, which is what you're doing. You're like taking on these roles that are not traditionally stuff we give to women. Usually it's like the romantic love interest, doesn't really do any action scenes or anything, but it's completely different over the past, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years or more, that it's probably been that women have had the chance to be more adventurous and to seek roles that are more exciting.
The last 5, and before that it was like really outlier stuff, like Aliens or
Aliens, a good one, yeah.
Very few and far in between. Yeah, they were iconic before because there were so few of them.
That's very
but now,
true.
Like we're still figuring out the storytelling. Like what I want to do, why I picked John McClane is because he's just kind of a goofball and almost incompetent guy.
Yeah.
And fumbles his way to success.
He does.
What I don't want to be is like that ultra super powerful female lead who's like, I barely had to struggle.
Yeah, no
Wasn't
struggles.
That a fun movie? Like,
no
no,
tension.
It wasn't a fun movie because you didn't really. When you started off basically fine and then got super powered, like it's not fun at all.
And now you're even better.
Yeah, right? I'd rather see Jack Sparrow just like pull their way to success. That's or not. Maybe completely fail in the end. Whatever.
Just fumble all the way through. Until the ultimate fumble at the end. That's really cool. I like that. So tell us about
more from characters that have something to learn themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very good point. So I was looking at some of your movies and shorts and stuff that you've done. Let's see, you've done, I guess this is a romantic comedy, Love Happens. Is that what that one is? And then I saw you got several awards for this. Maybe you can tell us what it is. Pajama Party Work Night.
Yeah.
What is that? Because I see it's critically acclaimed. It's got several nominations and winners for the ensemble cast and stuff like that.
It was an ensemble comedy short that Patrick Neff made. He's a good filmmaker, and he racked up tons of awards for this thing. It's funny, great female cast, and they are facing a deadline imposed on them by the patriarchy and the work, and they have to like pull this all-nighter and get it together, and they're sloppy and crazy, and maybe they pull it off for the end. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it is a fun thing.
That's so
I get
cool.
to do little fun stuff all the time, and then my commercial work, I just hide it. No one has to know.
So you've done a wide variety of stuff. Like you have a background in acting, voice acting, theater, and then the commercial stuff, the hosting. How did you fall into that type of stuff outside of like the commercial work, the hosting, the more was it like PR side of acting?
Right. Just trying to make a living and to keep gigging. I've had to like every little thing that I could get hired as, I would take it, but you got to strive to be really good at it, because it's still, actors are a dime a dozen, no matter if it's hosting or if it's spokesperson or if it's commercial or if it's comedy. There's still a bunch of people who could take that job. So you got to try to be really good in like all these different skill areas. And as we were kind of talking about earlier, like one skill, you can be talking right to the camera, and then another type of acting, you never look at the camera. So they can be a little bit different. How I got into hosting my YouTube helps a lot. it's weird because like it's not a big channel at all, and I'll either have to send it to someone directly or someone will just happen upon it and watch it, but then want me to be in their thing or refer me. And it might be like a voice in their game or a little part in their ensemble movie or hosting the Comic-Con one year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that helps a lot. It hasn't helped my channel because my channel split in too many different directions and it never took off.
It's difficult, yeah.
But it helped my career. Yeah, if I could go back, I would have to do the YouTube in one straight line, but then maybe I wouldn't have had all these other opportunities and things.
Yeah, that's...
But you never know. You can only point those things together in hindsight.
That's so cool. So the YouTube has really been the advertisement for all the different things you can do, your versatility as an actor, right?
Yeah, it's helped a lot. And I went to film school, which allowed me to be able to make stuff for YouTube because you only act for like a second, but you're going to like plan and then edit and then publish for like a bazillion hours,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yeah.
And I should have done it sooner. Like I've only been YouTubing like hard for like the last five-ish years.
Okay.
When I could have been doing it so much sooner.
Yeah, you think you could have juggled it in the...
I'm an actor. I'm a professional actor, so why would I do that stuff for free? And like,
yeah.
That's why I didn't start it for a long time. And then one day I was like, I'm not getting the roles that I want. I'm gonna have to make these roles myself.
Yes.
I just got a camera and did what I want to do.
Wow, that's a crazy way to look at it. Like, I don't want to give away my stuff for free. I'm the same way with the music stuff. It's like, I only want to be performing where I'm paid. Like, I don't want to have my music out there where it's not generating an income. Because it's like, at the end of the day, I got to eat, right? So it's like, but yeah, I guess I see there's a lot of value to putting yourself out there and showcasing your skills, which is basically what you're doing.
Yeah, it's how you can make yourself valuable towards clients, whoever your end user is, whatever your ultimate income stream is. Like, you got to manufacture that, and it's a long funnel, or it's a long road. So yeah, it's more about how do you become valuable, and does putting your stuff out there, does it give it less value? It just completely depends on what you're doing, right?
That's very true. Yeah. Tell us about some of your training and stunt work, because you're trained for like weapons and for fighting. You do several martial arts and stuff as well.
Sorta, yeah. So I do boxing and I do jujitsu, and I trained in that for a couple of years. Pandemic put it on hold a little bit, and I've had some weapons, firearms kind of training, for movie purposes and just to have fun and be a badass, or like pretend to be a badass.
Oh, that's
while
so
you're
cool.
doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not a stunt person per se. I don't like to fall down. I don't like to get thrown downstairs. Whenever I see someone falling downstairs in a movie, I'm like, like no, But it is, yeah, I like to be active. I love to do that stuff. I love to armbar people. I love to choke people out. Actually, I found that, like, shooting target practice is it's all breath work. It's all focus.
It is.
Quieting the mind. It just relates so much back to life. And then fighting, I found, it's a cooperative sport until you actually go to, like, fight someone and see who wins. But while you're practicing to get there, you don't want to hurt your sparring partner. You want to have practice, like, progressive resistance, so you like put more energy into it as you have more control over that energy. And yeah, it's so fun. I say everyone should go do it. But as a small person, I'm a small person. You gotta look who's coming to class today, and don't let them hurt you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you
no.
have to be able to recognize the look in the eye and be like, something happened to you. We're not gonna do this. Like, switch me another partner, please. Thank you.
Can I get someone shorter over here?
yeah, right. Someone who doesn't have crazy eyes.
So are you pretty fierce? Are you unexpected? You come in there and take someone down without them really noticing? They might underestimate you.
Look in class.
Yeah.
No, I'm so nice. And I was like a swim lesson teacher for a long time, like 8 years, right? So like I'm the person in class, they'll be like, oh, we got new people show up. Caitlin, can you show them what's up? And I'm like, why do I
Show
want
them
to
what's
be a
up.
teacher now? So like, yeah, I'm never gonna hurt anyone. We were sparring one time, and I was sparring with a guy, and he was like, you don't have to go easy on me. Don't. Let's see what you got. And I was like, I don't want to hurt you, man. And he was like, no, come on. Don't hold back.
Oh,
want you
no.
to just let loose. I ended up chipping his tooth.
Oh!
And he thought it was, and we had, he maybe didn't have a mouth guard in, but like,
Oh,
we always
no.
wear mouth guards. We have like big gloves, like boxing gloves.
Yeah.
And wax and everything. And, yeah, poor guy. But he thought it was hilarious. Thought it was the funniest thing that ever happened. So he was a really good sport.
At least he was in good humor about it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so.
But yeah, I've had like people that are ex-police or whatever. They're just trained to never be nice about it. They're just always gonna punch as hard as they can all the time, no matter if it's a little kid, no matter if it's a lady. And
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
God, I hate practicing with some of these people.
Yeah.
You just gotta learn to be able to pick them out of a crowd so you don't get yourself hurt. Because that's it. And when you're training, it's the long haul. Stay uninjured for as long as possible so you can get the most amount of practice in. Otherwise, you're done.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's very true. So on the other end, how do you stay like physically in shape for roles? Like, do you have like a gym routine? You go running, you lift, any of that stuff?
Yeah, and I'm always reinventing my routine.
Yeah.
So I watch like knees over toes guy on YouTube, and I'll get into some
Okay.
stuff like that where I realize that it worked out so long and everything kind of hurts. Like, oh, maybe I have to go back to the foundations and train like tendons and ligaments, which doesn't make you look sexy, but it'll make it so that you can build a good foundation for your muscles. On top of that, have fewer injuries, have better mobility. So now I do a lot of just mobility, light weights, stuff that you have to strengthen, like your rotator cuff before you go benching like crazy. Like get your little things bulletproof.
Yes.
So backwards walking on the treadmill, I do a lot of that. So
What?
all these kinds of boring things.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I'd be running up the hills. 'Cause
Okay.
that song got stuck in my head.
I've seen this video.
Girls. And I was like, I gotta go run up the hills, or this song's not gonna leave me.
Yeah.
So find the steepest hill I can and just run.
Oh man, cardio is so important. I've been working out like pretty consistently for the past year, and I used to be even skinnier than I am now, but like I'm starting to get like muscle tone and definition and stuff, and the biggest concern was like my scrawny little wrists. I was like, these little things, how am I gonna be like lifting stuff? It's gonna like snap, or I'm gonna like tear some sort of ligament. But yeah, just starting small and like focusing on the little things, little stretches and exercises and stuff, and pretty soon I was like lifting things, and like people ask me to like carry stuff. They're like, oh, you work out, you can carry this. And I'm like lifting a TV, and it's like suddenly there's a lot less effort because you're used to lifting stuff, so it's like you're used to that resistance, so it's like
Isn't that so fun?
it's really fun. I feel very super.
Yeah, it changes like you feel completely when you start lifting.
Plus I don't know if you get this, but it's like puts you in a really good mood for the day and gives you like a lot of energy and stuff as well. Even if you're tired from a workout, you're tired and sore and all that stuff, but you sort of get that adrenaline boost of like, all right, I'm ready to go to work, take on the world now.
Right? Exercise is a magical thing.
I didn't know any of
If
this.
you go out for a walk or whatever, it is medicine that has no side effects, right?
This is true. No bad effects here.
Yeah.
So, a lot of feel good, a lot of growth from that, and I like never gonna stop.
Gains.
I'm addicted. Addicted to gains.
Yes. I'm addicted. Batman never skips leg day.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a scrawny Batman here with the shrimp man legs. Let's see. We've touched on a lot of things. What was it like working in video games? Like doing voice work for that? Because you're not able to see what you're doing, right? Like you're playing more make believe with green screens and like props
Absolutely.
and mocap
Yeah.
suits, right? Get into all that
Right.
for us, yeah.
I love green screen and mocap because there's nothing to play off of. I actually can tell, like, because so many of these movies now are just big soundstage things. You can tell everyone's on a green screen. You can tell who is able to create that environment in their imagination and who just looks very awkward in their costume and is like, what do I do with my hands? Like,
Oh, no.
I love watching the difference between who's able to handle it and not. And I love it. And I thought of my sketches like on green screen. And I don't know if that's what got me used to it, but I think I just like the challenge of it, having to put that all together in your brain. And also because I love sci-fi so much, I'm just so incentivized to like make that stuff real. It just makes me feel like I'm doing a sci-fi movie if I'm on a green screen or on a mocap stage or something. It's just really fun. And voicing games is cool. I got completely humbled when I went and got trained up by Lex Lang, who's like a really good voice actor, and that was terrifying being trained by someone so good. Because I do like a lot of corporate voiceover stuff, and my voiceover character game was only strong within like a couple of roles, and it's hard. Everyone says they want to be a voice actor.
Yeah.
Like so many people. Almost everyone I talk to, if I tell someone, oh, I've done some voice acting, they're like, oh, I've always wanted to. So that's what I hear. The very first thing out of their mouth.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you have to be a good actor. You have to be like believable, and the character has to be compelling, and it has to be very consistent over time, and you have to have a bunch of tricks in your bag. Unless you're just like hero guy who only does hero voice. Like there's some
Very
people
simple.
like that, I'm sure, but most voice actors can do like a phenomenal number of things.
That's what I've learned, yeah. Is that I thought certain people might be kind of a one-trick pony, but then you realize it's like these guys are basically cartoon characters, and they can do like a whole Rolodex of different impersonations, different characters, different voices that seem like super out of character as well. Like we were looking at this guy, I don't even remember his name. He plays Carl Fairburn in the Sniper Elite video games. And like we like went and watched a video of like what he does outside of this, and like I just thought he was just big tough guy voice, like I'm the main protagonist of the video game. You know, but then he comes in and does like, he could do like SpongeBob. He can do like all these different wild characters, and he doesn't look like someone that has a voice that's like capable of going to those different. Yeah, Tom Clark Hill, that's his name. Guy's incredible, and I just completely did not believe all the different roles and cartoon characters that he's played.
Yeah, all these people have TikTok accounts where you can go and they just like will impersonate one thing after another, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, lost that. Yeah. It's another mark of a good actor. So what do you say to all these people that say, oh, I want to be a voice actor too? How do I do that?
If they ask me how they can do it.
Because I think we all think it's very, very. We must think it's easy or approachable, or we must look at it in a lens that we're like, oh, that doesn't seem as hard as the regular acting.
Right. Well, that's literally an actor's only job is to like make it look easy. Or make it sound easy. Like be able to have fun doing silly voices. Then you're like halfway there if you want to be animation, something like that, and be able to read. Like really well. Like if you can like read paragraphs of stuff and have it sound natural and fun, and then you start to like put your emphasis and like your intention with it, and you never mess up, like that is helpful too. You don't have to be perfect all the time, but there's a lot of people that just can't read smoothly, and that's like one of the basic skills for it. But then like take a commercial script and read it, and then do your best commercially voice however you think it should be done, and then go listen to some commercials and listen to what you did and be like, oh, those sound very different.
Yeah.
And then keep practicing and try to get them as close together and then maybe try to get even better than the commercial person after, I don't know how long it'll take, months or years or something. And then once it sounds like them, go get an agent.
Woo! That is some solid advice right there. Like some solid tips here. What it takes to... I guess it all goes back to the whole ego thing of just like, oh, I think I could do it better. Like, and so it's like, well, have you really tried? Have you tried being a commercial actor? Have you tried reading one of these scripts? And
have you even watched Jack and Jill?
Yeah, back to Jack and Jill. Did you even watch it? That's how you can win most arguments there. Oh my gosh. Tell us what your hosting gig was like. Comic-Con and all these other things. Like, what was your early experiences of hosting? Was that insanely stressful? Was it difficult?
Hosting is so much fun.
Yeah.
I could easily get like really nervous about it, I'm sure. And then I remembered that I had like 10 years of stage comedy doing like dinner theater, right? And it's
there
like,
you go.
That's all live in front of people too. And I had been live streaming for 2 years. So I was like, when this Comic-Con is a live streamed thing that I talk with a mic into the camera and interview people, it's just combining all of the things that I already do. So I'm ready.
You're trained. Yeah.
They were just like, there's no practice run, right? You just get thrown out there. And I like talking to people. I'd always worked retail and sales jobs. So I was always ready to like, meet a new person, get in a conversation with them. And then when I would interview like professional people, a big time comic book artist or a big time game developer, a head of studio or something, know how to like take their tone, make it that interesting for them, get them to want to open up and do a good interview, because I'm well aware that these are not on camera people. These are business people or shy artists or whatever. Yeah. So I love being able to use those skills that I have from probably sales and retail or somewhere, or like, I feel like acting doesn't really come naturally to most people. It might for a day when you start, and then something goes weird in your brain and you're like, this is really hard, and you have to train for years to get really good.
Yeah.
But like interviewing is like a thing I can just I feel like I can do almost naturally, even though it's probably not. It's probably all that stuff. And I liked it so much that I went and did other stuff. I did Halo Outpost Discovery, and I interviewed those guys, and I went to E3, and I went to PAX West, and then pandemic happened. But I was like, I was on a roll. Love interviewing people.
Yeah.
Hosting, yeah. So you get interviewing, you gotta say something to the camera, and you gotta sign back in. But I don't want to do news, and I don't want to do weather.
No, you don't want to be a weather lady.
No.
Or news.
Yeah, like it's raining. Hey, like, I don't care. Like, and then tomorrow it won't be.
So what led to did you just pick up a camera and just go to E3 and PAX and all these different things? Like, how did the idea spark for this, and how did you get all that rolling?
Sometimes I would just pick up a camera and go. Like, I was right next to Geek Girl Con in Seattle when that was about to be happening, so I just went. I worked at a podcast network place for a while before pandemic kind of shut them down, and they covered gaming news and events and stuff. And so I was like, well, let me go correspond and do this and that event. So sometimes I would go by myself, or sometimes I would have a camera guy, and that made things a lot easier for like Halo Outpost Discovery. And yeah, I kind of was like, just talked them into it, like, send me. Like, I'll make some cool content, because they are the ones who asked me to do Comic-Con in the first place. So then I was just like, and I'll do this and this. It was yes-anded them.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. So all those skills came in handy in sort of selling people hey, let me go out and do this work. Because not only am I trained for it, but I can convince you with all these skills that I have.
It's like, excited about stuff, then you have a better chance of getting a yes.
Man, I can't wait to go to some of these conventions and stuff, because I really haven't been to any of them. And I would love to hit Comic-Con someday. I think VidCon sounds interesting. Like, anything that sounds good for content creators, I would definitely like to do that. I like to network more and meet people and just see like cool tech out there. I know the big thing for music is NAMM, just heading there to see like all the new guitars, the new gear, collabing with other musicians, and now that musician stuff is intertwined with like YouTube content creators, they're all musicians creating lessons and videos and reviews and stuff like that. So that would be a really cool angle to check out.
You have to, for sure. And let me know where you go.
Oh my gosh, I need to.
And then people in the chats, anyone who watches this, the commenters, recommendations for cool cons.
Please.
You need those. And then when you go, change your Twitter handle to like Aaron Shack at whatever one you're going to.
That's such a cool thing.
And then you can try to find other people that are also going there that way and meet them up.
That would be a great thing. I'd love to do meetups and finally meet some of my fellow content creators I've known for years. We've tried to figure out, like, hey, if we could meet up, would it be at TwitchCon 20 whatever? But then the pandemic happened. It just, like, blew everything up. And then it seemed like cons were, like, the worst place to go for a little while. But, yeah.
Oh, I know. Even at, what was it, DreamHack, everyone just got sick from or something?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, and then some of them were kind of sad, like they just couldn't get enough vendors and enough people to show up. So it was like, they were trying to start up too early, I guess, after the pandemic. And so there weren't a lot of booths or anything at some of the shows, and it was like, man, maybe I should wait it out until like everything's back in action here.
Yeah, I just went to Cinegear in LA.
Yeah, how was that?
They didn't have as many vendors as they normally do, but and they even had it last year too. That was pretty cool, talking to filmmakers and.
But was it more intimate then? You feel like maybe you got more attention that way, or you got more of a chance to see everything?
Yeah, the crowd was lighter. You really have anyone's attention you want, any vendor you want to talk to or whatever.
Hey,
that was fun.
Yeah, that kind of pays off then, huh?
For sure.
And so do you come back with a bunch of gear after that? Did you go like buy a bunch of stuff, or?
I put a bunch of stuff on my list.
Oh, there we go.
A bunch of pamphlets, some brochures, and some spec sheets.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So there's always something to spend money on when it comes to all this stuff, all this type of gear. Which even for the content creation angle, we were talking about lighting earlier. Cameras, stuff like that. All this adds up, and I wouldn't have gotten here if I hadn't raised the money over the years of just doing all the content creation, having subscribers and stuff on Twitch where they were, recurring membership type stuff like that. It really helped. And then just putting extra money from work into it as well to like build a PC and do all the extra stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, you worked hard for it.
Yeah, absolutely so. I mean, everything here was earned. I don't think anything was just like given to me or anything. It was hard work. We had to put out good content to get the gear to put out better content, and now it's like I can do multi-camera setups and I can have, high quality audio and stuff, just really and I've got a Sony A6000 here, mirrorless camera that I've been using. And I got multiple lenses for that because I geek out on the camera stuff because I'm also a photographer. So I get nothing done because I'm a musician, I'm a photographer, I'm a gamer, like live streamer, all the different things you want to be. So you feel stretched thin at times where it's you have so many different goals that you want to do. You want to write a song, but you also want to get out there and get some good photos. You want to live stream, keep up your online presence. You want to be a voice actor.
We are exactly the same.
Okay, so that leads to like one of the hardest questions I have is like, how do you balance all of the different things that you're doing? You have multiple projects. You have your YouTube, just whatever it may be. Your family life, working out.
It helps right now. I don't have like a day job. I'm living on acting and stuff. Yeah. So I have to structure my day. Like tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, I'm all booked up. So I know the only thing I'm doing is shooting, driving somewhere, shoot, come home. But on days where you have the entire day, man, it's up to you to like set up the whole day and make sure you're moving forward and getting stuff done, but not trying to do too much. And that's where like I'd love to have either an accountability group of different artists or a mentor or a coach or someone who can be like, hey, dummy, you're doing too much. You're making focus. If you want to get to here, you got to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And occasionally I will go get a coach or someone to like slap me around and talk sense into me. But they're very expensive.
Yeah, that can be difficult.
Yeah, dude, a mastermind group would be way better. But I try to make like 3 goals for the month, and only one of them can be like career related.
Okay.
And kind of to just journal it out every morning. And I do the artist pages, which is a classic book called The Artist Way.
The Artist
And
Way.
It's nothing to do with getting stuff done, but it kind of zens me out so that I can get stuff done and don't get distracted and don't get self-destructive like artists tend to do.
We do.
I do.
That's every genre.
Scheduling and accountability and time management, like none of the sexy things, but like that is
very true.
How the balance happens. And then just turn it all off. Like for a day, a week, or after a certain amount of time at night, after 7 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about freaking anything.
Hard to stop working, right? Because you could always be editing a video or writing a script, or sometimes you turn it off too much where you're like, maybe I'll just bum around and play video games or take a nap or something, because the artist, and maybe I'm speaking for both of us here, like the artist schedule is what you make it. Like you were saying, you're scheduling things, you're always staying busy, you're always working on something. But if you don't do that, it can look you can adopt the bum lifestyle. Or to people that have a regular 9 to 5, it looks like you're just having fun all day. Right. I'm just sitting here playing guitar. It looks like I'm just goofing off all day long, or I'm recording a podcast. It looks like I'm just being silly, right? Like, and just hanging out with friends or whatever, instead of like trying to create something here. So do you encounter that in your end of things as an actor?
Yes. And I used to feel really guilty. Like if I was going to go like take a walk or go to the grocery store on a Tuesday afternoon where everyone else is like at a job and I'm not, I would feel like very insecure and legitimately horrible about it and myself. It's like eventually I got over that, just gradually. Maybe it was the morning pages, the artist pages, maybe it was something like that helped. But I don't, or maybe it was pandemic because everyone was just at home anyway.
We were all at home.
But yeah, you can always be doing something. But getting good at saying no to people and not getting overcommitted, quitting when something isn't working, being able to constantly reevaluate and pivot and go in a new direction that'll work better, being able to test new things. There's like so many little things and little skills that go into actually being productive and moving ahead and getting better skills and improving your network. And it's a whole thing. The whole freelance lifestyle is like 100 different tiny little skills.
Because you could very easily do a lot of things and also get nothing done or not meaningfully progress in your career. Like you could just keep doing the same thing for years, like keep taking small projects or keep doing commercial stuff that's not really moving you forward in any sort of way or taking you where you want to be.
Yeah, you gotta be harsh on yourself. Not to the point where you quit, but to the point where you like force yourself to change. And then also got to get lucky because life does try to keep you in your small little pocket, and you got to really try hard to shake things up so you can get to like a slightly different pocket, and then get used to that again, and then shake it up again.
Very true.
Yeah.
So what's your support system like? How does your family take the whole acting thing, friends, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like I'm surviving and I'm even making decent money now. Where like it would be so depressing to go get a day job and work hourly where I could get just like one acting gig in the week.
Yes.
Like one day. A 4-hour job or something. But my parents are always like, oh, maybe you should, have you thought about doing something else? They're always on my back. They're always like,
they are?
Do this or that, or like, oh, it's so discouraging. My boyfriend is like my truth teller. Who's like, he's no bullshit kind of person, and I'll be like, oh, what'd you think about that video? He'd be like, it was okay.
Oh!
I'd be like, I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
That. And Yeah, friends sometimes think that they're helpful, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not.
No?
Sometimes
Oh.
they have great ideas. Usually they don't.
They have a great
Um,
idea for a skit.
right? They're like, it's like you're helpful as my friend. And when
Mm-hmm.
I'm not working, I get my mind off of everything, but like they can't hit like the record button on things and they go to like so don't actually help me, just be my friend. During pandemic and doing all the classes and stuff, I got like an acting accountability group. I have
Mm-hmm.
more comedians that I'm friends with that I can go to get help on stuff. And that is pretty invaluable, especially the actors group, because actors need that and they also need readers to read with them for auditions. Since everything's self-tape now, that is like the hardest thing to get is a good reader, and your mom can't read.
Oh.
Promise your mom sucks unless she's an actor.
unless unless your mom's an actor. Man, I never thought about that. Yeah, having to have someone read for you to do all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are the parents, they're still on your case? They're still like, when are you going to get a real job? Even when you're successfully out here acting and
Yep.
you're meeting all your goals and you're paying the bills and
Yep.
staying afloat here, they're just like, why don't you go get an MBA or something, Start your own flower shop or something. Or
Yeah.
get that doctorate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just how they're gonna be. Just
You've
used to
accepted it, huh?
now. I've accepted it. Yeah.
But they're
But then
supportive
my mom
though.
would be the
When
first one to
you,
like watch a sketch, and my mom would be like, "Oh, you're so funny, sweetie," and I like
oh,
comment
see?
back like, "Thanks, mom."
So you have that. Okay, so at least they are supportive in the way of, when you are out there crushing it and you have something to show them, they're supportive. Like, they watch your stuff. They enjoy what you put out
Yeah,
there.
they seem to like the comedy stuff.
Okay.
They seem to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Maybe
they're not
parents.
completely against you in
Right.
your career path.
I made them come around because it's been so long. I've done so much that it's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna break them down here eventually. I'm gonna make them laugh, and then they're gonna be into it.
That's so cool. I face the same thing as musicians. Like, when are you going to get the real job? Even when you have something steady going. So I think it is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
you have to accept. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you have family that's supportive and willing to help in situations. And because some people just don't. They just have the family that might completely disown you for going down the career path, whether you
Yeah.
do well or not.
Right? Yeah, and that's tough. And it's really hard to do without a support group. You really need people on your side. Like people don't have to worship your stuff or the ground you walk on or even completely accept it, but you still need them to accept you as a person and tolerate whatever you're going to do. Otherwise, hard. Even harder.
So talking about having the mastermind group and groups of colleagues, coaches, mentors, friends,
All of the
anything that
help
helps.
you can get. All
Oh
of
my
the help
gosh.
you can get. And then yeah, be able to cut people loose who don't help or like the toxic types.
Yes.
I've got to go super fast. They will hold you back so much.
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah, I try not to engage in the. It's very easy in the gaming stuff to engage in the online drama or to dogpile on something or go after what's trending or whatever it may be. And I just try to stay very impartial and very removed from it all. Maybe to my detriment. It's like you could grow if you jumped in there and fought with the other dogs. But I don't know. But I want to have some integrity at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just got to take care of your own headspace.
Want to be a reliable source in gaming. Anyway.
You are.
Hey.
Most
All right.
upstanding of gentlemen.
Well, and it's all about having, it comes back to the mastermind group thing. Once I started meeting fellow YouTubers or gamers or just anyone that does the same thing that you can just bounce ideas off of and say, does this sound terrible or does this thumbnail just not look that good, or can you like join this voice call so we could do like a audio check here? That as a podcaster or even doing the lighting check, I've had friends come in and like, hey, let me practice, getting set up for stuff. Because like what we did today for this, it was like, I need to have a few minutes to sort of cue together, your image on screen and green screen it all in. And all that comes with training and practice and having a group of people that you can practice doing that stuff with.
It also makes it worth it too. That's what makes it fun to do. It makes it rewarding. Because it's like to do all this stuff by yourself all the time and create content. You kind of like can easily get burned out if you don't have somewhat of a community.
Absolutely.
To riff with, man. For
yeah.
Sure.
It helps tremendously. Okay, so last couple of rapid fires that we got here. Let's talk a little bit about content creation. What goes into creating a short? How long does it take you to like throw together the ideas for like your little TikToks and shorts and various things?
I will just have a crazy idea for something, and sometimes I'll almost improvise it, and then I will just cut out the bits that I don't think work, and that'll be it.
Simple.
And sometimes I have a couple ideas and I'll be on a roll and I write a bunch of sketches and then I go shoot them. And then sometimes I write a bunch of sketches, I refine them, I rewrite them, I think about it, I try to make them better, I plan a shoot, and I go all out with the Panasonic camera and make them as good as I can. So one of those three approaches.
So do you opt for the high quality equipment, or are there some stuff where it's just the mobile phone, maybe a gimbal or something?
I have yet to find what like really works, and it's probably more the content than the means of production. I like to keep my professional-ish filmmaking skills sharp, so I like to use my equipment, my camera, so I like to shot and make it look really cool. But sometimes it's great to not have to do all that work and not have to edit so hard and just keep it in the phone and run up the hill, or be the afraid astronaut who doesn't want to take off, or whatever the concept is that day.
The minimal editing as possible, I think, is my favorite way to do things. If I can get it to where it's almost perfect in each little recording, or if it's a live stream, you just kind of have to go with whatever happens. But yeah, I think minimal editing is quite nice, or at least trying to make it to where you can streamline stuff like that, where it's like you've got these clips and then you just got to put them in the studio and figure out how to cut them up and make them logically lead into each other. So what kind of software do you use? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I use Adobe Premiere Pro for editing. It's expensive. I might try to switch to like Resolve or...
Yeah, Resolve is great. Yeah, they're free. Yeah, I've been using them for a number of years, and it's a shift because I got used to Premiere Pro as well for a while, and their UI is so simple and just very easy to understand. I mean, even for someone like me that's sort of, I just have to watch YouTube videos to figure out how I'm doing stuff here. So switching to Resolve was like I don't know, switching from being right-handed to left-handed. It was like everything felt backwards at first, but then, once you found out what the shortcuts are, or what the name is for that feature in this program, because everything's different, once you figure all that out, it kind of balances out. Okay. What about, tell us a little bit about the cosplay, the crafting, props, the elements that you have in a lot of your videos. How did you come together with some of this stuff? Like most notably, your Thor costume you did recently. You had like all these different parts and pieces that you put together.
My buddy made that for a photo shoot that we did a couple years ago.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not a cosplayer, and I have very little ability to like make costumes, but I have an uncanny ability to like put costumes together from things that I have, and I don't have to sew or tape or staple. I won't do any of that.
Oh, that's perfect.
I just like put different, and I'm addicted to the props and the wigs, and I just organized them all today, and I was like, dang, I got a lot of wigs. And a lot of guns, a lot of prop guns, right? Like the old Jack Sparrow kind of gun, and then like 6-shooters.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Different stylized things.
That's awesome. Let's see. Is there a type of project that you haven't done that you'd like to do?
Yeah, like a Hollywood budget film.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah. And I don't have a lot of TV credits. I've never been in a TV spot long enough
Okay.
to stack up good amount of credits there. But a Star Trek or some
Ooh.
kind of cool series. Like I'm not into soaps. I'm
Uh-huh.
not into even some of like the police shows are like soaps. I don't care about
They are kind
doctor
of.
shows. Hey, I do it. Any kind of thing comes at
You
me.
do it? Yeah.
I do it.
Not turning it down, please.
Here, but
Yeah.
yeah, maybe something fun.
But something exciting.
Catch
Yeah.
up.
Something fun. Okay, so it says here also in your bio that you're a writer, you're a producer, you're editing, publishing, acting. Is there anything else that you would try? Would you try directing, or are you just in love with every step of the process that you feel like you want to be involved?
I would love to have a crew and take a bunch of stuff off my hands. First thing to go would be editing. I would try directing. If I'm going to put together a bigger shoot, I'll usually get someone else to come in and direct. If it's just me and a couple people, I obviously have to direct it. I've been on some shoots lately where it's like, man, maybe I should try to direct. Like, and someone's messing up, and
Yeah.
they're like, well, then you try it if you think you could do so good. That'd
Yeah.
be one of those times where I'll be like, okay, I think I could do it.
You
better.
could do it, yeah.
It depends on what it is, absolutely. But just like a commercial or something.
So you could take on more of a leadership role in some of these projects if you have to, or
Yeah,
you can wear a lot of the hats.
Yeah. I joined Women in Film, which is a professional organization for like producers and female filmmakers of all types, all roles, and I just made like a mini documentary, and so I'd be producing a little bit, and I feel like as a YouTuber, you don't really give yourself enough props as a producer, but really we are producing tons of stuff.
True.
And we're very familiar with all parts of the process and all kinds of equipment and workflows. And the minute you get a couple people involved, then you're scheduling and you're line producing and you're doing more of that kind of stuff. So we know more than we think we know when it comes to the other roles that go into content.
Man, I didn't realize that, but yeah, that is very true. We're very much, well, I wouldn't say experts, but I mean we're certainly very proficient in every field that we're working on here, whether it comes to editing, producing, publishing, lighting, cameras, angles, all the crazy stuff that you have to factor in to make a green screen work.
Right, backgrounds, effects, keying in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so much work. Let's wrap it up with the last questions here. You're a gamer, and what games do you play? What do you enjoy playing in your spare time?
Dude, just got into that Shredder's Revenge.
Yes, the Ninja Turtles game. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and I am like a button masher by birth.
That's the best way to play.
Right? I
It's
was
a
kind of
fact.
debating, like, is it the best like beat 'em up game ever? It's like, I don't know. I like Batman and Robin for Sega Genesis, and I love the Dynasty Warriors games for PlayStation.
Those were good.
But it is in like my probably top 3 right there for
Shredder's
for
Revenge.
beat 'em up.
Who do you pick? One of the Turtles, April, or Splinter, Casey Jones?
Mikey, and I did Splinter.
Oh, okay. I did Mikey and April. I've really enjoyed Mikey.
Cool.
He's got some fun like little comedy moves, and he's very fast. And I like the
Yeah.
nunchucks. Those are pretty dope.
Right? Yeah.
So what have you been playing that on? Is that on PC or is that on console
I
or
put
something?
it on Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Anything else you're excited for in the gaming realm? Is there games you're looking forward to, or things you want to play that you haven't gotten around to?
I've kind of been into VR,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm in that space a little bit, and I'm not sure what I'd be looking forward to there. I don't know what's really upcoming that is for me, but man, there's some soccer games. There's shooting games. Those
Shooting.
are what I'm into, and there's
Always.
a sword fighting game that I play with VR.
Oh, that's cool. Always
Yeah.
reliable. Well, anything else you want to say to wrap things up? Any last words or anything? Comments, questions, concerns?
Just thank you for having me on, man.
Thank you
This
for
is a lot of
coming.
fun. Yeah,
This was
it's
a
lot
great
of fun.
conversation.
Heck yeah. Yeah, if you want to check me out on YouTube, it's Caitlin Burt, and it is Cybers on TikTok, Caiburs. It's all sketch comedy if you're into the sillies and the funnies.
And I will have links to all these things in the description down below. You can check all that. Follow her on all the social media platforms, all of the different places that Caitlin's creating content, and stay tuned for more. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great one, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.